So we'll start with our first question. I see a hand from Lennox Aldred. Lennox, could you please pose your question? Thanks.
Thanks, Mo Spoons. Greetings, Sir Haynes. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Lennox. How are you?
Giving thanks, man. Nice squad. I see you have come up with here for this England series. Could you just take me through some of the process that you would have gone through to bring back? I've seen some players coming back as well. So that process that you used to pick this squad to face England.
Well, before I do that though, because I think it might be more interested for you to tell me about some of the players that you want to know about more so than I going through the process of selecting the side, because selecting the side is it is not a Desmond Haynes view and Desmond gets what he wants. It is people discussing players. We had an opportunity to watch 2 4-day games, and we had a scout in Trinidad in Tony Gray. We also had Sarwan in Trinidad. I was in Barbados observing the game against the Leeward Islands and also against Jamaica. So, that is the basic on how we went about in picking the team. I think, Lennox, what you must also understand with us is the fact that we have only been in office for just over a month now. And this is probably our first, this is our third team and our first President's 11 game, and also our first test team.
Right. And obviously, test series coming up, and we haven't really won a lot of test series under coach Phil Simmons, but you're still confident that Simmons is the man to lead this team?
Lennox, I think Lennox, I'm the lead selector, and I don't know why you've been asking me questions regarding Coach Simmons. Coach Simmons is working for the West Indies Cricket Board. He's our coach at the moment, and we've got full confidence in Coach Simmons.
All right, thanks much.
No problem.
Thanks very much, Lennox. We appreciate your question. Thanks, Dr. Haynes, for your responses as well. Akeem Green, next in line, please pose a question.
Jeremy Solzano was selected to be the opener for the Sri Lanka series, but unfortunate with his concussion. He was in the squad, and then for this series against England, he's not in the actual squad for the first test. Was this squad selected solely based on performances from the regional 40, and that is why John Campbell would have replaced him for that opening slot?
Well, the discussion with there was good discussion regarding the opening, and as you know, that in itself is something in which we really want to resolve rather shortly. I think in all good teams, you find that they've got good opening batsmen. So we're hoping to get our opening batsmen, with some confidence and making sure that they can do the job for us. I think we have stick with Campbell, not only because that he's got the 100, but talking to the captain and battling with Campbell in the games that he has played, we had a bit of success there. It was a bit unfortunate for Jeremy, but we decided, look, we put him in the President's 11 game, whereas that, the selectors can have another look at him, because as you know, it was a bit unfortunate after getting struck on the head that he didn't get a chance to play in Sri Lanka.
Thank you very much. Akeem, Gavin Richards as well, you have a question?
Yes, good morning, Dr. Haynes. I just wanted to follow up a bit on that question regarding John Campbell. A lot of people would say that he has had his fair chance. And it's like you said, it's unfortunate that Solozano didn't get to make the team for England. But I mean, do you think this is really warranted, seeing that Campbell has already had his chance?
Well, Gavin, thanks for your question again, Gavin. I told you that, I did say to Akeem that, we went with Campbell because after consultation and after big discussion, we just believe that, we can give Campbell another go at it. So, you're entitled to your opinion. Unfortunately, you don't have the job that we have, but I could understand your views, but that is the decision that we have made, and we believe that it's the right one.
Okay, and I noticed that there's no Shannon Gabriel included into the test squad. Any reasoning behind that?
Yes, Gavin. Shannon was injured in the game that he played in Trinidad. We were told by the medical panel that he's having a little bit of a problem with his hamstring and would not be fit for selection. So we're hoping that we can get Shannon, because Shannon has done very well against England the last tour here. He's probably our fastest bowler, but we're hoping to get him fit so that he could be on the bar.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gavin.
Thank you too, Gavin. Thank you, Dr. Haynes. Another hand raised. We have Ian Wilson. Ian, please come with your question.
Hi, good day, everyone. Looking at the team, we have Sami Pumol as the spinner, and of course, most of our international spinners are more or less left-arm spinners. Right now, Ruston Chase is not really in form with the bat, but seeing that he is consistent with the ball, were there any considerations, or are there any considerations in the future to have him play even as a spinner, as a bowler? And speaking of off spinners, the other off spinner, Rakeem Cornwall, has not even been included in the President's 11. So what is the reasoning of the omission of Rakeem Cornwall?
Okay, I think that's the two-part question. You want to know about Cornwall, and you also want to know about Chase, or you just want to know about Cornwall?
Cornwall and Chase, if there's a possibility of Chase playing as a bowler.
Well, yes, we did discuss Chase. We think that Chase is a very vital member of the West Indies time, especially to get the balance right with his off-spin bowling. We also had a long discussion about that. We talked about his batting. Obviously, I had a chat with Ralston, and Ralston realized that he has to go and do some work, and he promised me that he's doing that. We decided to go with a left arm spinner this time in case of Rakeem, instead of Rakeem Cornwall. So, we were just looking for that. We don't know, but we have to look at the wicket in Antigua first before we start talking about the spinning options. But, we just thought that with the opportunity that Permaul had in Sri Lanka the last tour, getting 5 wickets in the test match, we thought we'd give him another chance.
All right, thanks a lot.
No problem, Ian.
Thanks, Ian, as well. Another raised hand we had Anmar, Goodrich Boys. Anmar, please pose your question. Thanks.
Hi, good afternoon. The most honorable Mr. Haynes and Margaret Boyce from The Nation. Just wondering, is there any consideration, or was there any consideration for Shane Dorrich?
Yes, Anmar. We did get the clearance from the West Indies Cricket Board saying that, and the medical panel saying that the Dorrich was available for selection, but we decided that we'll go with Joshua. He's had a run. He just came back from the tour of Sri Lanka, and he's doing pretty well at the moment. But yes, we did had discussions regarding Shane Dorrich as well, and I can see that's the reason why we've got Dorrich is captain in the West Indies President's 11th game, which starts on the 1st.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, Amir.
Next up, a question from Ryan Bachu. Ryan, please come off the mute and pose your question. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Spoons. Hi, Dr. Haynes. How are you? Dr. Haynes, I just wanted to ask you, just looking at the squad, some members of the squad, so I see Anderson Phillip is in there. Veerasamy Permaul didn't do too badly for Guyana. Phillip, obviously, I think he took like 9 wickets for Trinidad in that second game. And John Campbell is also back. He scored a century. Is this a way of telling regional cricketers that, yes, if you do well in the regional 40 tournament or West Indies Championship, that there is a place on this West Indies team for you?
Brian, certainly. Yeah, this is the message in which we are sending to the batting, because we need to get our batting right, not only in the test format, but in the 50 over games and the T20. And we're seeing that if we get guys who are playing, this is the only level of competition that we've got. It's a bit unfortunate that we never really got a few more games, you know, but with the 2 games that we saw, with a good batting wicket in Barbados, Craig Baffett show that, you know, if you get the surfaces good, you know, he can make a big runs, and he made a big double. John Campbell, yes, he did get 100, you know. I think that's what we want, though. We want the batsmen to, when they're playing in our domestic season, people question how strong our domestic season is on our competition. But the mere fact is that the guys are playing in it and they're doing well. Yes, they would be up for selection. And, you know, you'll be looking at the test cricket now, but also we've got some 50 over games coming up, and we have to be preparing for 50 over competition, the World Cup in 2023 as well. So it's important for these guys when they're playing in a domestic season to do well, to catch our eye. And again, as I said at the beginning, we're really a new panel, SARS and myself, and, you know, we want to see the players, and we want to make sure that when we are judging them from their ability, they've got some runs as well, but also they can play a role that we want them to play.
If I could just also follow up by asking you, the West Indies Championship has taken a short break. I think it's supposed to resume in May. As you as governor of selectors, would you have liked to see the West Indies Championship, albeit a truncated five-round season? Would you have liked to see the matches, regional matches, continue, even though the England series is happening next month?
Well, I think that was a decision that was made by the West Indies Cricket Board, and I'm not here to say if the West Indies Cricket Board has done the right thing or not. What I'm dealing with is the fact that we had 2 games. I think sometimes when you're playing the games along with the test matches as well, yeah, you know, sometimes it is good because you give people exposure, but sometimes it can also water down the competition, and this is something that you want to avoid, because you want to see the best players playing among themselves and doing well. And us as selectors, we can judge people from the character and also the competition in which they play.
Yeah, Dr. Haynes, I know that some of my other colleagues have a lot of questions. I just wanted to quickly just ask you, you had a bit of a baptism by fire, 6-0 in India as your first selection. You know, any thoughts on that?
Well, Rand, thanks very much. I realize that you're accounting. But yes, you know, we select the team, and we select the team with a view that the team is going to do well. But I'm liking it how you're counting the 2 teams that have selected. You know, I'm going to 6 it up, so I'm going to get my dominoes right then.
Thanks, Dr. Haynes.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Dr. Haynes. We have a few more questions. We're clocking down on time as well. We'll go to Brandon Corlett, then followed by Marshall Hewitt. Those are the ones that see raised. Brandon Corlett with a question for Dr. Haynes, and then immediately following Marshall Hewitt.
Good afternoon, Dr. Haynes. You spoke about Ramnare Sarwan and Tony Gray being the men on the ground in Trinidad. What was the conversation like, especially for the batters that would have got starts, right, and failed to carry on? What's your message to those batsmen that, especially in Trinidad?
Brandon, I don't know. Brandon, I'm not here to tell, I'm not in the coaching capacity at all. I think the people who are responsible for the players, they would address that. You know, we're here looking at people to perform, and also we've got scouts on the ground who tell us, a bit about the players and how well they're doing, how they prepare for the game. Not only prepare for the game, but how they look while they play the game. So basically, that's the only information that I can give you. But I really can't come and tell you, if that I should really look to drop somebody who's playing for Guyana that refused to go on and bat and make 100 or got out like something. I don't think that is in my field. That is definitely not the way how we're looking at it. We just want the guys to play, and we want the guys to make sure that when the guys are playing our domestic season, we want to see, the great the determination, the commitment to the game, and also the performances, and that's how we're going to pick them.
Thank you so much, Brandon and Dr. Haynes. Marshall Hewitt, pose your question. Thanks, Marshall.
Thank you. Good morning, Dr. Haynes. Just a couple of questions. The first one, you mentioned that you spoke to Roston Chase and he acknowledged that he's got to do some work on his batting. Shai Hope is also missing from both the Test and the President's 11. Have you had similar conversations with Shai Hope with regards to what he needs to do to play red ball again?
Thanks, Marshall. No, I did not speak to Shai regarding that. The conversation I had with Shai was just a matter of that. As the lead selector, you tell people who are in the side that they're playing, and you also tell people who got left out of the side that that they're not in the squad. So with that conversation was rather short, and he was just asking me regarding the camp and so forth. But I didn't go into the batting. I'm staying far away from trying to get too much involved with the coaching aspect of the game. I don't want, I want the players to, be able to depend on the coaches in the territories, and also Phil as the head coach of West Indies, and Phil will deal with that.
Thank you. And just quickly, the second one, have you and Ronnie had any discussions about, I'm going to call it thinking outside the box? So with the white ball selection, for example, you selected Kemar Roach to come back into the ODI squad. Have you thought about going the other way round? And I'm going to call a random name like a Nicholas Pooran. Obviously, he hasn't played any red ball cricket in a very long time, but have you got thoughts about, I'm trying to think how to phrase it. Have you got thoughts about maybe going down that route and trying to pick white ball, so quote unquote white ball players in a red ball squad if their schedule doesn't allow them to play red ball cricket?
Yes, Marshall, I think that you probably would have heard me, when I took up the job, saying that, look, I want to be able to say that we in the West Indies, we've got cricketers who can play white ball format, who can play the T20, and also can play the Test. When the team was here, I had a conversation with Nicholas Pooran, saying to him, I believe that if he can make himself available to play some red ball cricket, the longer version, I believe it will help his batting a lot. And he did acknowledge the conversation. We had just a brief conversation, but I did indicate to him that I feel it would be a good thing for his cricket going forward. And he acknowledged the conversation, and that was it. I wouldn't like to go too much further into the discussion that we've had, but yes, I did, and that's what I want. I personally want to know that players, who are playing cricket for West Indies can play in any format of the game, and the same thing apply. If someone is doing well in Test cricket, I believe that we need to introduce them into the 50-over game, or if we see a role for them in the T20 game as well. I think we got to look to base the cricketers on the ability and the thing that we believe the job at hand and the task that we think that they can do for us.
Thank you, Dr. Haynes. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much, Michelle.
And thanks, Marshall. Thanks, Dr. Haynes. And we have a final question from Avinash Ramzan. That's the last one we've seen. So Avinash, can you please pose a question?
Thank you, Philip. You hear me? Yeah, Dr. Haynes, I'm curious to know what's the posture of the current panel in terms of treating with players and selection, basically non-selection, especially as it relates to Salazano. There's a guy who was, basically on the verge of a Test debut in the last series, and now he's not even in the squad. How do you as selectors keep a guy like that motivated to continue playing the game?
Avinash, I think that's a bit unfair though, because I've answered that question already, and I told you that it was a bit unfortunate with Jeremy getting injured in Sri Lanka, and he's also playing in the West Indies President's 11. I don't think that you need to go along that line. Let us be a lot more reasonable than that. We've got a situation where, as we said before, that we're trying to see how best we can get our openers sorted out, and you're making it sound as though that we are frustrating the process, and we're trying, we got to do all this thing to get these guys motivated. I mean, he went on his first tour. I told you before, or I told I can't remember the name of the person now I spoke to, regarding we had discussions regarding the opening batsman and who would partner Craig, and so Jeremy name came up. We had discussions. We even had discussions with Shane Mosley. He got selected for the West Indies a couple of years ago and never got an opportunity to open the batting. He went to, I think it was Bangladesh, and he batted down the order. So we are here to encourage the players. We're not here to try to do anything at all to stop the guys from performing at their best and to working at the game and trying to get into the team, because we are all in this together. We want what is best for West Indies cricket. It is not about Desmond. It is not about SARS. We are here to do a job because we believe that we can make this make this game or make it better than we define it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No problem, Avinash.
Thank you, Dr. Haynes, as well. And what? Sorry?
I have a question if I'm allowed. Just one quick question.
Sorry, who is it?
Akeem, I have a question if you're still
okay, we'll
one more.
Take one final question from Akeem Green.
So when England toured in 2019, about over 85% of the wickets came via fast bowlers. Was that something at the back of you guys in selecting this squad in terms of just one frontline spinner, and you've brought in Anderson Phillip, and there's Alzario obviously retaining his spot as well? But that's something at the back of your mind, especially given the England Test unit. This one, they don't have a lot of experience in the batting outside of Joe Root, Johnny Bairstow, and obviously Ben Stokes.
Yeah, Akeem, I think you're right. Yes, we look at the England squad. We also look at what happened the last tour here. We also look at the surfaces in which we got to play on. And then, we make a determination, like in places like Antigua, we would make a determination of the combination that we would go for. But yes, we did take all these things into consideration. We've got a very good analyst in Richard Berridge, who fills us in with all the information that is required about the teams that we're playing against, also about the players' averages, about the last the players' tours. So we are well informed of what is going on thanks to Richard Berridge. So yes, we did have a serious consideration regarding of how England played here the last time they were in the Caribbean.
Okay, thanks, Akeem. Thanks, Dr. Haynes. We want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today, and we appreciate your time. And we also want to thank Dr. Haynes immensely for his time and going through the questions and providing the relevant and appropriate answers. So at this point, we will bring the Zoom meeting to an end. And as I indicated earlier, being recorded